running community are one of the friendliest people. You know what? Very interesting story. So there is a guy who had been following me on Twitter.
Oh, nice.
So that I was running, blah, blah, blah. So I was walking out of my hotel and I bumped into this guy. He was asking me, I know you from Twitter, from running Twitter and stuff like that. And you have inspired me quite a lot. So we ended up doing a selfie on my first 2 hours in Berlin. But it was like, wow, what? You ran this thing in sub 3. So I didn't understand what was all the noise about. This sub 3 thing. And then it started to dawn on me after that, oh, so that's a really good benchmark. So I was born in South Africa, but I've lived pretty much all my adult life in the Republic of Ireland, in Dublin.
Hey listeners, if you're enjoying the stories, please leave a comment, share, or subscribe to this channel for 2 reasons. First, you'll get notified when I publish the next story. Second, it inspires me to get you more stories. I'm your host, Kamal Dada. Enjoy the story. Hi Cosmos, welcome to the podcast. I'm excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Kamal. I'm glad to join you as well.
Great. Let's start with a little bit of your background.
Yeah, so obviously I was born in South Africa, but I've lived pretty much all my adult life in the Republic of Ireland, in Dublin. So I work there in healthcare system, and I have a family. I have 2 kids, a daughter and a son, and my partner as well. So, yep, I've always been into sports, but not particularly running. So my story into running is pretty much exciting. It's very unusual to a lot of people. So I'm from a background of cycling, the road bike. So in July 2020, we had a pandemic.
Right.
And obviously, it was a very trying time for a lot of people around the world, and I was one of them, and very lonely as well. And at that time, unfortunately, my mom in South Africa, she was diagnosed with cancer. So
sorry to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a triple problem for me, so I needed something to keep me moving. The world was on lockdown. I couldn't travel to see her. The only way to get in touch with her was via the WhatsApp calls, Zoom calls, whatever you call it, and regular telephone calls. So I came across this hashtag online. It was being driven by one guy in South Africa, and his name is Tumisol. It was about staying fit, during the pandemic. And so this hashtag seemed to be picked up by a lot of people around the world. So I started my running journey then. So I went out one day and then I said, let me try running. I had old running shoes. So I did a 5K. And I did that 5K in about 24 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And what was the beginning of my running journey? From then, I was unstoppable.
Oh, wow. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, a lot of people actually during the pandemic picked up running because what else you can do? Not much. And to pick up some healthy habits was a great way to stay fit and, everything that's going around. Yeah. So you ran 2023 Berlin Marathon this year.
That's correct.
Do you want to share your key highlights from the race?
Yeah, so Berlin was a huge thing for me. Obviously, I was already coming from Boston. I was coming from Paris. So I had an excellent support system in terms of training. So I've got these friends of mine in Dublin who have been training already, who have been runners all along. So Berlin was a huge thing. It's a big marathon. It's a big major, so I obviously looked forward to it. And I trained pretty well. I had a very good support from a friend of mine who is from Brazil originally. So he has a degree in sports science. So he helped me with those bits to avoid injuries and everything else. So prepared very well in Berlin. And I had a massive support in terms of my fundraising efforts, for the cancer hospices and everything like that. So arrived in Berlin, and you know what? Very interesting story. So there is a guy who had been following me on Twitter.
Oh, nice.
So that I was running, blah, blah, blah. So I was walking out of my hotel, and I bumped into this guy. He was asking me, I know you from Twitter, from running Twitter and stuff like that. And you have inspired me quite a lot. So we ended up doing a selfie on my first 2 hours in Berlin.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah. So next day, I had a very good crowd from Ireland that traveled for the race. And we went for the race. The atmosphere was out of this world. It was fantastic. Well organized in a German sense. You will probably understand what I'm trying to say in a German sense. Very, very well organized race, and everything was set. And I enjoyed the race, to be honest with you. But then there's this other element. Because I had gotten an entry into Berlin, I decided that now that I've run Boston, I have Berlin, I'm going to be chasing majors. So.
Okay.
And I knew after Berlin, I would be traveling to Chicago. I was going to be traveling to Chicago 2 weeks later. So I went to Berlin with this in mind of managing the race safely without having to burn out, because I wanted to finish all my majors under 3 hours. So, so I ran Berlin Marathon pretty well. Initially paced with a guy that I met during the race. His target was 2 hours, 44 minutes. So my target was sub 2 hours, 50 minutes. So we ran together. And I got a little bit carried away during the race. Obviously, I was going a little bit harder, and then I had to control myself along the way, fearing, burning up, stuff like that. And I did manage the race in 2 hours, 49 minutes. So I was pretty much in my target. Yep.
Congratulations. So you mentioned a couple of big races that you ran this year.
Yeah.
So let's hear how many races you did, or how many marathons you did this year. And the part B of the question would be like, what's driving you to chase those?
Yeah, so number one is this whole idea of the memorial for my mom, being able to run these marathons. I had so much incredible support in terms of fundraising for the cancer hospice in Dublin, that I reached my fundraising target after just 2 weeks of launching it.
Oh, wow.
So I've had massive goodwill of people. And I have about 200 plus messages online of support towards my marathons this year. So I've had this excellent goodwill. So that's one thing that is driving me pretty much in this marathon. The other thing is to stay healthy and fit.
Right. That's true. So how many marathons you did this year, and which ones you ran?
Yeah, so I started off in Paris on the 4th of April. I ran Paris Marathon in 2 hours, 46 minutes. And then 2 weeks later, I went to Boston. I did it in 2 hours, 47 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And before that, so I ran a half marathon in Lisbon, Portugal, in March as well. So I have 5 marathons and 2 half marathons.
Okay, so you did Paris, you did Boston in spring, and then obviously you did Berlin. Which ones others you did?
I did Chicago.
Oh, and Chicago too, right.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So at Chicago, there's a little bit of an interesting story around that marathon. So my original idea was to do New York. But New York was a first come, first serve basis for the people with the qualifying time. So I think I was a little bit late in putting up my application. So I missed New York. But then the previous year, it happened that I'd run so well in my age category
Mm-hmm.
That time I had enough points to compete what they call the Abbott Wonder Age Group Marathon Majors, whereby they invite the people above the age of 40 to take part in a major. So it happened to be hosted by Chicago. So I was invited in Chicago to do the Wonder Age Group thing. And I was happy to take it because I had missed out on the opportunity to run New York. So I went over to Chicago. I had fantastic time there, even got the 2 medals, obviously. And the support from the public, the organization was probably one of my best marathon so far.
That's great to know. So you covered 3 majors in 1 year, looks like. That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, correct, yes.
And you did pretty big ones too, like Berlin, Boston, and Chicago. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
Now let's go back to back a little bit, how it all started. You mentioned you started running in pandemic time frame, and especially this year, you had a very emotional reason why you're chasing, or you're doing 5 marathons, and since you're raising charity for Cancer Hospice in memory of your mom. I'm just curious, like, what still drives you to run? And you mentioned a little bit about a health reason, but I'm thinking like 5 marathons, and plus, you're not even talking about other races you're doing. Like, what's driving you to go so much?
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. So there's this other passion of mine. I love traveling.
Okay.
Running is taking me everywhere. So pretty much it's a good excuse now for me to get out and see the world. So I love traveling as well. So running is fitting very well in those plans. And obviously I'll be able to give you further plans probably for next year, what's on the horizon. A little bit exciting as well.
How is it running in Dublin, and how is the running culture, the running community in Dublin area?
So, very interesting. I'm pretty much new in the scene. Obviously, I think of about 3 years, but you'll probably know that running community are one of the friendliest people. You are able to make friends very, very, very easy. Someone sees you running, and then the next thing they meet you, I think I saw you running. Do you mind if we meet up for a run? Or they see your details on Strava, and then, we invite each other, and through friends, and we end up having this good group of people running together. So Ireland is a running country. I have to be honest with you. And even if you look at the figures on Abbott Marathon Majors, the amount of people from each and every country who have completed those 6 stars, Ireland, for a country of 4 million people, is one of the top countries. They've got about 300 to 400 people who have completed the major. So Ireland is a running country, and the running community is huge. There's a lot of running clubs. I'm not part of a running club, but I'm so lucky that everybody loves to run with me. Everybody loves to invite me for a run in their club. So I'm able to run with pretty much a diverse group of people from different clubs, all those kind of things. So I will tell you straight away, pretty much everybody knows me at this stage within all the running scene in Dublin.
Oh, that's pretty amazing. And you do have some amazing time, and you're just running for 3 years. Like, when you started running, you're like that fast, or you had over the years you build it up?
So, it's very interesting. Like I said, I'm coming from the cycling background. I wasn't that fast. I wasn't a runner at all. I can tell you straight away, if you were to see some of my runs sometime in 2020, 2021, I was struggling. My aerobic base was struggling. It improved on its own, and I didn't actually see how it happened. So I basically ran 3 times a week. And so I started to get really, really fast. So I will tell you something funny now. There's this thing running called sub-3 marathon. I didn't know about that.
Okay.
So I signed up for this first marathon of mine in Sevilla, in Spain. So I turned up in Sevilla, and I ran it in 2 hours, 57 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So everybody goes like, "Whoa, what? You ran this thing in sub 3?" So I didn't understand what was all the noise about this sub 3 thing. And then it started to dawn on me after that, oh, so that's a really good benchmark. So yeah, and then I started to improve. The more I ran with other people, I became very smart with my training, to avoid injuries, cross training, all the kind of thing. So yeah, it has been getting better and better and better and better.
Mm-hmm. So is it just the running, or you combine a lot of other aspects of training too?
I actually do combine that. So I'm into road bikes, and
You are, okay.
yeah, so I do around maybe 250 kilometers of cycling every week.
Oh,
And
wow.
then I do about 60 to 70 K of training run. So basically my training run, I've got a long run on Saturday and then a recovery run, an easy recovery run on Sunday. So and then I've got other 2 runs during the week, easy ones, maybe speed workouts or something like that. And now I understand running very well. Like I understand all the aspects, to balance nutrition, lifestyle, and I've got an excellent support system in my family. My partner, she took up running as well because she's seen the benefits firsthand from me. So
Right.
she took up running. She did the first half marathon this year in Cardiff in the United Kingdom. So going forward, obviously, I'll be able to share with you the news about Tokyo Marathon anyway.
Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How do you balance 250 kilometers of biking? Then you have 50 to 60 kilometers of running. Then you have speed workout. You work.
Yes.
You have 2 kids, family. How do you
Yes.
balance or juggle those things?
Okay. So interesting enough. So what I did a few lifestyle changes.
Uh,
I don't like driving a car. Number one, being held up in traffic. I'm not very patient. Okay.
okay.
Yeah. So, and then I stopped drinking alcohol.
I see.
Okay. So it's sort of like freed up something for me socially because I didn't have to go out or do stuff like that. So now that I don't like to drive a car, so I decided that I will commute to work by a road bike. So I'm working about exactly 25 kilometers away from my house to work. So I decided that I'm going to commute to work with a road. So my return trip is basically 50 kilometers a day. And then on weekend, if I'm not running so much, and then I add another 100 K or something like that. So basically my mileage in terms of running, in terms of cycling is pretty huge. This year already, I think I have about 10,000 kilometers worth of cycling. So the support from the family is huge. They're happy to see this, obviously, because I went through a lot when my mom wasn't well. And my partner works from home. So
Okay.
yeah, so when I finish work, I don't run every day. So when I finish work, I take over the aspects of the kids, preparing their dinners and all kind of stuff. And then my partner, she can actually go out and do her own runs or meet some friends, which is very important in a family, work-life balance and our own life as well to make sure
Right.
we are doing as a family. So the family is very supportive. My partner, she comes from a sporting background. She's big into tennis, she's big into skiing, and she's big into yoga. So I think I have the right family in the line of stuff that I'm doing. And there's a big buy-in into it. We try to encourage our kids to live a very healthy life as well. So in that sense, I have a massive support. And then I have friends around me as well who have been inspired by my journey. And they
Nice.
they have taken up quite a lot of physical activities. Earlier this year, I was training 3 ladies who have never run all their life. They ran the Dublin marathon and they did very well.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool because that's inspired by you.
Absolutely, yes, yes.
Oh, that's great. You talked quite a bit about your support system you built up so far. Anything else part of your support system that you'd like to highlight?
Well, in terms, yeah, the support system is excellent. And the other thing that I need to mention as well is the support from my work, from people
Oh.
from work. I work in a private hospital, and there's about 1,800 people working there.
Mm-hmm.
And especially on the fundraising aspect, the reason why I was able to raise so much money within 2 weeks, it was the support from my colleagues, even though I eventually started to get other, like donations from outside, from other people. But the people from my work were so solid, so supportive in terms of helping me print the T-shirts, sharing the fundraisers and all the kind of stuff. And the fact that I'm doing this kind of healthy, sporty life, it benefits a lot of organizations now, particularly in a hospital environment where we go through a lot. It's very stressful environment. So a lot of people in the hospital have been inspired as well. So I'm now well known as a guy who lives a healthy life. So everybody aspires to do that. And they have seen it firsthand that is actually possible. So a lot of support from work, even if I'm traveling for some of the trips. Financially, some nice people from work, they have paid part of my expenses as well. So there's that too, yes.
Oh, that's very nice to have. That sort of a support system for sure. Great. So what's next for Cosmos?
So what's next now is Tokyo.
Okay. So you're running Tokyo next year?
I'm running Tokyo next year, and it's a very interesting story, Tokyo, because I'll tell you, because I've decided to do all these majors. So I was told by the traditional runners that Tokyo is the most difficult major to gain an entry into.
Right.
So, and then they gave me some ideas, we could perhaps maybe donate to charity and then we get a spot. So I got a spot via charity for Tokyo in March next year. And I'm running Tokyo Marathon. Very excited. Why I'm excited? Obviously, because I'm going to run the race. But the other aspect, I love traveling, like I've told you already.
Right.
I'm taking the whole family.
Oh, nice.
And, yeah, we are spending a solid 2 weeks in Japan. So I will run the marathon, and then after that, we'll spend time traveling. We'll go to the likes of Kyoto, Mount Fuji, and all other interesting places in Japan. So that's a huge thing. Obviously, that's a charity-linked run as well. And then I will run London, possible. It's on the pipeline. We're working around it as well. So I'll probably run London next year as well. There's a huge possibility. And then hopefully New York at the end of the year. So I'll have all the majors within 2 years.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Berlin, because obviously you mentioned a lot about Berlin. I'm going back to Berlin.
Oh, okay. So you already signed up for Berlin next year?
I've signed up for Berlin next year. Why I'm going back to Berlin is the 50th anniversary.
Yeah, that would be special, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of friends are going there. So I decided I'm going to sign up. We're going to go and have a massive running party. So yeah, there's Berlin, obviously. And then there's Tokyo, definitely. And then we're working on London and New York. Obviously, hopefully I'll be on time this time around to put in my application. I've got the qualifying time. That's not a problem. Just I need to be on time to put the application in.
Yeah. Wow, that would be a busy year for you as well. So you already have 4 majors lined up, pretty much, that you're...
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But almost there.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Well, all the best, Cosmos. It was great chatting with you. I'm sure, London or New York will happen as well. I know you have 2 already kind of in the bag, right? You already planned for it, Tokyo and Berlin next year. But all the very best. It's great chatting with you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Kamal. It was absolutely good chatting to you and, reliving my running journey and everything else around it. So thank you so much again.